There are leaves around, and I know just the tune to accompany them, if you wish to hear it. Wherever in this world I roam, I carry memories of my home.
Chill ya.
This blade.
Let's go.
It is the last link I have to the land of my birth.
Salah. Okay. Tes. Okay.
Since we first set foot on Inazuma. So many things have happened since then. Yeah, we've definitely made some progress. So, where should we go today?
Wait a minute.
Huh? What's up?
What the fuck? Siapa nih? Who the fuck?
Hey, what the heck was that for? Doesn't want to talk, huh? All right, let's convince him to calm down a little. Break the ice.
Huh? So you don't have a vision after all? Seems like I've mistaken you for someone else.
At the very least, you should make sure you've got the right person before... No, wait! Even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attacking them out of the blue. It's dangerous.
Keren kali pedangnya.
Have you ever met someone by the name of Kazuha? He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animo vision. That's none of your business. Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
What the fuck? So cocky, bro.
What the heck is this guy's problem?
Yeah,
Coming
what the fuck
around
is
here
doing?
waving that weird sword in our faces, and he didn't even apologize. Seems like a real nutcase. Well, one thing's for sure. No way are we telling him anything about Hey! Don't be mean! I'm on smart lots of the Anyway, just to be on the safe side, we should go find Kazuha right away and tell him to watch his back. Oh? What kind of hunch? A special connection? You mean beyond already knowing each other? Yeah, maybe a little. But then again, anyway, there's no time to lose. Let's go tell Kazuha so we won't get into any danger. Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look for him there.
Time to go.
Alright, let's go. Crux fleet.
Hey! Hello? Do you know where Kazuha is?
looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all. Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, if it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention. Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the...
Oh, so you still
I've heard bits and pieces. Something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's
Muso
Muso
no
no
Hitotachi. Itu keren banget, Pak.
Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be? Really? Wow. When you put it like that, it all makes sense. In that case, his newfound stardom is well deserved. He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryo Commission. They said they had something important to discuss with him. I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems...
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable. Thank you. Guess we'll go pay a visit to the Tenryo Commission.
All right then. I'll just stay here and carry on trying to fend off the crowd.
Tenryo Commission. Keren Pak. Kazuha, jumpa Kujosara ini yang ada.
Time to go.
Ini kan Kujosara sama Kazuha nih.
Oh? It's you.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt Decree. Since you're here, you're very we invited Mr. Kaidahara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the Shogunate. Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistakes. And for that, the Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least the Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaidahara name.
Kaidahara name.
Regarding the history of the Kaidahara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed? In short, there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the Shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the traditional blade forging arts of the Almighty Shogun. But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaidahara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a period of great turmoil. We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui. Attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato and Kaidahara clans was neither proper, nor considering Mr. Kaidahara has once more made an outstanding contribution to Inazuma. The Almighty Shogun believes he should not only be rewarded for his achievements, but also receive recompense for the excessive punishment borne by his clan. In the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui, we chose not to publicly release the findings of our investigations.
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive the goodwill of the Almighty Shogun. However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come without some strings attached?
I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. We seek only to correct a past injustice. With the Kaidahara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaidaharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end. You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City, with the Almighty Shogun's blessing and full support of the Shogunate.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer feel at home behind the tall walls of a stately abode. Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaidahara, and the art of blade making for which it stood.
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the malicious rumors currently circulating through the populace will disappear.
Malicious rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered whether there was another Kaidahara Kazuha in town.
Well, to some, the Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaidahara really parried the Also, eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a result, the falsehood that Kaidahara Kazuha was using a delusion began to spread.
What? But that doesn't make sense. Using a delusion turns you old and frail, and Kazuha still looks fine.
That is correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable notion still.
This is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of public discussion, but perhaps if the Shogunate is willing to publicly support me,
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought. It stands...
Please allow me some time to consider. In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Well then, what brings the two of you here?
Yikes! We nearly forgot about the most important thing.
Why would such a dangerous individual be looking for me? No. This puzzles me as much as it does you. My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so over time these techniques came to form something of a Kaidahara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat forms. Those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to...
All the more reason to watch your back. This guy was a serious nutcase.
Indeed. He sounds highly aggressive.
In that case, I will send some men out immediately.
Thank you. I must say, I am now very curious about this matter. I will first join the Traveler in investigating the one who attacked him, then give you a...
Very well. Please stay safe.
Come on. Let's go and track down your aggressor.
The detective agency knows the most about what goes on.
Kontrafektif. Keempat itu emang.
Let's see what Ryuji has to say.
Si cewek itu. Si Ryuji cowok. Yang cewek itu yang detektif itu lah. Head. Detek. Nggak ada head sih. Nggak ada head. Nah, detektif sana. Namanya Sango.
There, we'd like to ask, do you know if anyone around here has been looking...
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaidehara. I've heard a lot about...
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate any help you can offer.
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Let me think. I can't seem to recall any. Mr. Kaidehara is currently the talk of the town, so there are always a lot of people looking. To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people wishing. Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate commissions, Sango would have...
Millions? Of mora? Whoa! Oh, wait, even at that price...
Please, accept my thanks for looking...
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our... Sorry, I got a little off topic. What I'm really but I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this...
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks or similar... The Tenryou Commission had very few leads. I thought you might have some...
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But typically, it's only the most trivial events that manage to escape their attention. If anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault, in which case the Tenryou Commission would absolutely get involved.
Uh-oh. Looks like the trail's already run cold.
I still find it difficult to believe that whoever attacked you hasn't been causing any trouble elsewhere. Few people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first person he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt by now. I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. In fact, I'm quite relieved that you were the one he targeted. It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured, or for the poor victim, this would be a completely senseless crime.
Don't worry, we'll find him.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaedehara. Surely this same concern for your—
You flatter me. Truth be told, I don't know quite what came over me in that moment.
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely understand your— Oh, actually, there was one strange incident over the last few days. It doesn't— Let me tell you about it just in case.
Sure. During times—
All right then. Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma
so yeah.
clan.
Amenoma. Now there's a
Right. Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo, the owner of Amenoma Smithy. 2 grown men going missing at the same time. I recalled this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished martial artist who is skilled with the blade. Perhaps he is the one you are looking for.
Understood, though it seems highly unlikely to me. I neither know this man, nor do I have any idea why he may—
Sure, can't hurt. We never know what we might find out along the way.
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by making some inquiries.
Sounds good. All
Sounds good. Togo naman, Togo.
If it
You two know each other?
Yes, the Kaedehara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden. After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Amenoma to pay my respects. Yes, you may recall the story of the Raiden Gokaden from the Iridori Festival.
Though all bladesmiths trace their craft back to the same source, over time, each of us has arrived at a different blade-making philosophy, spawning the development of different brands. As an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination of water as it turns stone to sand. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out, until both body and mind have memorized the craft, turning each motion. As for the art of the Kaedehara clan, I believe it's called the Ishin art.
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind, from the moment that for only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become an extension of its wielder's will.
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedehara clan has—
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal— But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information on your missing nephew. We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn—
Ah, yes. My nephew. He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. I'm still complete, but I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile.
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance too.
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very— I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato. After that, the next thing I heard was that a fire had broken out at the warehouse. Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have caused it. Unfortunately, there was very little evidence left behind, so nobody knows what—
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya may have wanted to give?
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing. He is extraordinarily talented in martial arts.
Truth be told, we have some information that you may find to be objectionable. Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems to match—
What? No. He is humble and kind. Even his training is done with the goal of calming his mind. He has never gotten into a fight before. Yes. if there's one thing I can say for certain, but with that said, it's equally out of character for him to just disappear. With neither, I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of if coerced. Or anyway, should you find him, please let—
Don't worry. You have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the two men met each other. Let's pay a visit to the...
Nagato.
Time to go.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe. My husband has gone missing, and I'm
No. You misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to...
Ah, I see. I thought the debt collectors had come to visit again. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information come out? Do you know where he's gone?
I'm afraid we don't have any new information. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some...
For example, Paimon's...
That's a long story. He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic and everything was fine when we first got married. But as time went by, things changed for the worse.
Uh-oh.
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money. Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he'd spend hours. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there. I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first. I've tried talking to him about it. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell...
Whoa!
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. On most things, he leaves the decision-making to me. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in and I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he...
I see. Amin Omayuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale...
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into it, but my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into...
Maybe...
I don't know. He just disappeared. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home, now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off... Even though I'm still a little mad at him. We're a fam... As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can...
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation. If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit to change so drastically over a short... But the information we gathered from the other side suggests Ame no Mayuya is also a...
A little confusing. More like...
Let's try a change of scenery, and see if we can piece together what we've learned. Rest assured, we'll notify...
Thank you so much.
Istrinya perhatian kali istrinya.
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting, the fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation unfolded. Though do you have any thoughts?
Well, Paimon was... Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
Right. I very much agree with you. Working off what we know so far, there are too many things that don't add up. The chances are that there are still some clues left for us to... One fact that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is polite and well-mannered. Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened, right? Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem to link the two events together. Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art.
Darn! We thought we could get two birds with one stone here, but at this rate, it's...
Let's keep going, since we've come this far. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato.
Okay, but where...
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still a chance we may be able to find some...
Ada tuh rupanya. Gimana pula gudangnya nih?
Wait. I hear something ominous in the wind.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds as sketchy as that whole thing seems. You did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in...
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the... It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants of the Tatarigami. Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may... We should remain vigilant and approach...
Tatarigami.
So it's an
The force is definitely... The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place. But judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami...
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around...
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatar... From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters. But most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain...
So what should we do now?
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside. If we don't open this door, we can move no closer. You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than...
Far from.
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't... It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary! Paimon was so
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatari... Two ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital that we find out where this... Quiet your mind and focus on what you sense around you. Perhaps... From this point, the trail appears to split into two. The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here, and seems to be dissipating slowly.
Whoa! Look at all those hairy turtles! They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
One with wind and cloud.
the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing. Well,
Anak ko nagutuwa dito pas oleh ame no mayuya dia mga bangkuran. Oh my god, man.
according to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept...
So,
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters, and whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. There's nothing more for us to find here. Yes, right now we need to... If Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him...
right. So let's get moving.
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, felt for a practitioner of the martial arts the easiest desire to inflame all the clues that at first seemed disparate and disconnected. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's
Wait, you figured it out? So,
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we...
Kampret, kasihan kali, Wak.
Time to go. He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
why here?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sent...
Show yourself! It's no use hiding anymore.
Betul, dia yang tadi nih.
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So it is the same guy from before. What's your problem, huh?
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Amenoma Yuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Amenoma Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light.
Keren kali pedangnya.
Whoa! Surely you don't...
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind. And more recently, using the sale as a means to affect, or rather, as a means to occupy, Amenoma Yuya.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already did... Many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy, as a descendant of the Kaedehara clan. You should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time, and sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, his skill. It culminated, he not only bestowed upon me the greatest in her conceit. the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade forging.
Raiden Gokaden.
So, swords can become conscious?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home. I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might of Ishin art.
The Max Asian art.
Ah, so Amenoma Yuya was not your first. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
My hosts? Who cares what happened when they got tired or injured or unusable? I hopped to the next one in line. After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenoma Yuya handed it at long last. I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, I have found you, and by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun. Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come. Now, give your body over to me!
What the fuck?
Shadows of fate, decided by destiny.
Rewrite
Can't have
history!
your dream. Huh. Sakura swirl.
Wind strike!
Do not stand in my way, or I will strike you down too!
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Lost? I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more. Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will. The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger. And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure. By any means necessary, and any medium available, I shall return and fulfill my destiny!
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art. But from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance, as well as a thinly veiled mania and despair.
Really? You can tell all that just from his moves?
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since the blade is currently possessing Amenoma Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thoughts of the blade. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition. You believe I am your only hope.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without you? On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would I
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner. Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical...
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a...
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Amenoma Yuya and make your escape.
And what?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to bear. Each step you have taken has come at a great cost. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew, and the more you wished to run from the truth. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from achieving my goal!
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities, even if you were to sever that divine light. Is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired?
You...
Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding. How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between a blade and its bearer?
Silence, you blabbering fool!
Blabbering fool.
I must achieve my goal. This was his life's dream, and the very purpose for which I was brought into being. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly.
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not your so-called reality. It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaedahara clan. If you wish to save this man,
Oh my god.
then offer me your body in exchange.
No.
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state.
Oh.
So let us make a bet,
Jangan bilang.
and I will put your
Jangan bilang
strength to the test.
Don't you dare, bro.
What? Surely you're not planning to agree to his demands.
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. A taste of my power will more than convince you. Once we have dealt with them, we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release Amenoma Yuya from your control.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is the only way to save Amenoma Yuya. If we don't do this, he'll forever be the Blade's puppet.
Mau dipegang ya pedangnya.
The cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak.
Ini macam
and
film
I sense he's
Gintama
hesitating.
ini dah.
This suggests his heart is still not completely devoid of honor. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Amenoma Yuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar kinds of obsessions, I should be able to put up some resistance for a while.
But
Even if things take a turn for the worse, I still have you both here with me. We have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept the risks entailed.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because there are things I wish to learn too. Now, take me in your hand.
Oh shit, bro. There it is, man. Uff. Keren kali. Keren kali, man.
Kazuha?
I'm okay. I felt a little dizzy at first, but only for a moment. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will. Thank you.
What should we do next? Have you...
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense...
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers hearing about something from the Adventurers Guild. Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin ever since.
Ah, all right.
What about Amenoma Yuya?
The blade says he'll let Amenoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't...
Are we sure this is a good idea? It's a... Okay, fine.
Ini tempatnya kemarin jumpa sih. Jumpa siapa ya? Sekarang mau cewek. Waduh, di atas dia kampret. Tepak, men. What the fuck is that? Oh, pedang. Tak ada cahayanya. Don't you fucking dare, bro. Mana? Benar ya. Tanah lama ya. Yang diduduki.
Leave everything on this journey to me.
Price is in blade, normal charge dan banyak. GG kali nih. Anjing. Ya bos.
Time to go.
It's my lucky day!
How's this?
Into the wind.
Let's get down to business. Fallen leaves, adorn my night.
How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm all right. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use and maintenance, it's become very difficult to use. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last much longer.
Something else on your mind?
How strange. Rather than trying to control me, let's keep going.
Seru ya. Just bos. My god.
It's my lucky day!
One with nature.
This!
Into the wind.
Let's get down to business. One with wind and cloud.
One with nature. can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps persisting, he will likely break up.
But what would that do to
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up easily. He's still trying to achieve his goal. Clouds high. The birds call. One with nature.
Are you okay? It looked like you were really struggling the entire fight.
Yes. And it looks like he's reached his limit.
The sheen's grown a bit dimmer again. It doesn't look anywhere.
Perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance to see his true form.
True form? What are you talking about? Huh? What the? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk.
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the almighty Shogun. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered and broken. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy. I've finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would still be able to wield commendable power. But regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never understand your obstinacy and cruelty, nor can I empathize with the one who made you. The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time you were born.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
Here they are! Take them down!
Where do they keep coming from? Yup. We can help this time.
Don't worry. I'll use my own blade. It's just more of the same.
Lucky day!
Feel that blade.
One with nature.
Blade ya, sedang
Into the wind. Fallen leaves, adorn my night. The wind knows me.
You fought way better with your own sword.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, no one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person. I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for...
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal... Too much time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without proper maintenance, I can only disguise. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is. Perhaps I shall never reach that level of glory.
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue. Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they aren't. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during that time. Plus, in the moment that I most needed it, skill, blade, determination, and desire. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was constantly trying to seize control of my body.
I sensed it, but I couldn't change it.
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you yourself have any intention of I feel a great sense of regret for you. Since the moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. You have known this for a long time. It is the true source of...
He gave me everything. How could I possibly... I said to him, do not worry. From here on, I shall forge your legacy. How could I go back on my word?
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing further to say.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. Let's give him... When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was A bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight. A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final words.
Wow.
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. The Ishin art had been dealt a devastating blow. He spent the rest of his life in the forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred, but to atone for his actions. He felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day so he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma, no matter how long or how hard the journey. All he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as blade and smith, that they were still worthy of being trusted.
So that's the true story. But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were worked by the Tatarigami, slowly turning his proud creation into the cursed blade.
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with was that of the Tatarigami. The hatred within that power is what sent the blade down. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost its original master. No one was there to correct it. Yes, time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubbornly stuck at that. He seems to have calmed down, though.
When I look back at the past, I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his wishes. Such was the debt, but darkness and slaughter numbed the mind. Over time, I lost sight of the... Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition...
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor the agreement. But I still cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the ambitions...
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix, too?
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. And if you don't agree, I will still release Amenoma Yuya as promised. My physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should still be of some value to you.
His attitude has... What do you think, Kazuha?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. Alas, after that, he never rose from his... Nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself in battle since. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next... You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle and experience a true...
Oh,
I will release Amenoma Yuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps after that, you can convince him to commit to a fight with you. You must have plenty of reasons to both hate me and desire a good fight.
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up and seeing if he...
I see. He used my body to... I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me, if a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I am willing to put myself forward. I do not wish to be a mere victim in this story.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenri.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without your intervention?
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. We can't stay. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a...
Di mana sih namanya, Cok? Sini orang mau duel. Duel, Pak.
This reminds Paimon a bit of the Crux Clash. Yep, we still can't let our guard down. Even now, still. Even if he's way past the point of redemption. Are you ready?
Ready? Okay. Successor of Ishin art.
Successor of Amenoma art. Amenoma Yuya.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor also.
Ini dia.
Into the wind.
Damn, man. Ngeri kali kau di mana?
Time to go.
Amenoma Yuya. Nope.
The wind knows me. As one with wind and cloud. One with nature.
Thank you for the experience. Although he appears battered and broken, in your hands it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance. His sense of savage cruelty has completely faded away.
You also fought well. I'm sure he relished the experience. There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has...
You need not seek my forgiveness. Nor do I have the right to forgive you on your victim's behalf. It is too late for...
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone. I strayed far from the straight and narrow path, but the Ishin art still has a worthy successor in Kaedehara Kazuha. I beseech you.
Yes. I too trust Mr. Kaedehara to do the right thing.
Thank you, successor of Amenoma art.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to visit the Amenoma smithy. Maybe we can go back there to get...
What does he want to go...
I'm not sure, but I think that all... Time to go.
It's Yuya! You have returned!
I am sorry to have troubled you.
A prized Ishin blade. Turned weapon that control... Considering... But I have some good news as well. Ryuji from the Bonton...
Really?
Yes. Badly wounded, but he will live. And now that Yuya is back, it seems like...
I think I know what you want to do.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whispering in your ear again?
Yes. He said he wants to take control of me for a brief moment.
What? No way! Hasn't it learned its lesson?
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. And he assures me I have decided to let him do it.
But he... Ugh. Guess there's nothing we can say to change your mind, huh?
Thank you. I will explain my reasons later. Okay. I am ready. Let us begin. Please, stay true to your promise.
Stay true to your promise. What is this?
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness. You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Keren kali, Wak.
Rest in peace.
So, that's why he said it had to be done in that order. His consciousness will disappear forever after fulfilling the bladesmith's wish.
Kagotsurube Ishin. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions, and thus chose to bury this name only in the final moments before his consciousness faded. Was he
Seems like he really wanted to fulfill.
the same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going forward also fueled the stubborn determination that blinded him to the path ahead? Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes than see him punished for them. I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my personality. Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched something inside of me, just as the sight of those who fought to repeal the Vision Hunt decree did. Your quest to face the gods and trace your sip after everything I've seen. Perhaps these pursuits fascinate me a little. I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance.
Wait! Shouldn't we also go update Kujo Kamaji?
Oh, you're right. And it's also time to give him a response to the offer.
Kujo Kamaji.
Follow the
Loh, kok di
wind.
sini?
Time to go.
You've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. Though this was a treacherous investigation. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amanoma Yuya should conclude soon. I do not...
Wow, you sure...
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer. Please, take a look at this blade.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin. A weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaedehara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study, and so it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see.
The Kaidahara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
You misunderstand.
I am aware, but I still desire to
Very well, I can understand. Then however, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the shogunate's assistance, please.
Great.
Where will you travel to next?
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again for now. As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
Jam yang aneh dan tak bersahabat. Dapat bos. Kagut subure no isen. Di final kayak udah max. Keren guys, cok. Ada pambat ya. Nomor 6 pedang bos. Sono church. Kalau itu cocok enggak sih sama ini? Gila cok. Gila coy. Coba saya tuh. Mudah lah. jadi Virgil Pak. Jadi Virgil. Dark Serpents. Dark Oke guys, thank you for watching. Goodbye guys. Gila, keren, 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 keren.